The camper is the oldest and most infamous archetype in Call of Duty. They've been around since the very first game, and they've never gone extinct, because unfortunately it's one of the most effective ways to play if all you care about is KD. The camper finds a strategic position and tends to stay there for an extended period, rather than actively seeking enemies or moving much. They've set up a shop like a squirrel hoarding nuts for the winter. They often use defensive gear and perks to enhance stealth or detect enemies, e.g., traps, sensors, camo abilities, and much more. If you try to flush them out, you'll probably trigger one of their traps before you even get close. Their dream scenario is catching some poor soul sprinting around a corner, totally unaware, and then boasting about their reaction time. What makes campers controversial is that many players feel they slow down matches, reduce action, or avoid the dynamic engagements intended in many modes. Call of Duty thrives on chaos, on fast-paced back-and-forth gunfights. The camper removes themselves from the ecosystem. They're not chasing streaks, not pushing objectives, not even really playing the same game. They're playing a patience simulator, and your frustration is their win condition. Those who know the legends of Modern Warfare 2 remember players sitting on the roof in Favela, or prone in the grass on Wasteland with a thermal scope, racking up kills while their team screamed at them to move. Or in Warzone, the rooftop snipers who never leave their perch, forcing you to waste all your plates after every peek. But the kicker is, as much as we hate them, campers aren't going anywhere. They'll be here in every Call of Duty release, lurking in shadows, waiting for you to get careless. And when you finally kill one, the dopamine rush is unmatched. It doesn't feel like you killed a player. It feels like you purged evil itself. The Rusher. If the camper is slow poison, the Rusher is a stick of dynamite with legs. The Rusher is fueled entirely by chaos and adrenaline. They spawn in, immediately slam down the sprint button, and never let go until the match is over. Patience is not in their vocabulary. Every round is a highlight reel waiting to happen. Rushers are at their peak on small maps. Shipment, Nuketown, Rust. These are their playgrounds. They thrive on spawn-flipping chaos, darting from cover to cover with an SMG or shotgun, sliding into your face before you can blink. And when they succeed, it's glorious. The kill feed lights up with their name, they chain streaks, and suddenly the entire enemy team is stuck in respawn hell. But the thing about rushers is that they live and die by momentum. For every montage-worthy rush, there are 10 failed pushes, where they get melted instantly. On bigger maps, they spend half the match sprinting just to die first. A good rusher can carry a team by keeping the enemy on their toes, but a bad rusher turns into free XP for the other side. Still, rushers bring life to lobbies. Without them, matches would often grind into boring campfists. Their reckless aggression forces everyone else to react, which keeps the flow of the game moving. They might get 15 kills and 30 deaths, but you'll never accuse them of playing slow. Every single Call of Duty veteran has gone through a rusher phase, that time when you refused to take your finger off sprint and thought the game was about who could run and gun the fastest. Sure, it was chaotic, but it was also probably the most fun you've ever had losing. The Objective Sweat. The Objective Sweat is the guy who treats domination on Nuketown at 2 a.m. like it's the Call of Duty League Finals. While everyone else is chasing kills, this player has one thing on their mind: securing the win through the scoreboard. No matter what, if there's a flag to cap, a bomb to plant, or a hill to hold, they're already on it, and they always seem to be yelling at you for not helping. Their natural habitat is ranked on playlists, where their intensity actually makes sense. But in casual lobbies, they stick out like a sore thumb. You're just trying to vibe and kill confirmed, and suddenly you've got some guy barking, push B, like he's your drill sergeant. They throw their body on objectives again and again, racking up deaths, but they don't care. It's about points, not KD. Objectively, they're necessary. Every great hardpoint or search and destroy squad has at least one of these people. They're the glue that holds a strategy together. They'll clutch around, plant a bomb, and give callouts while the rest of the team is mute. But they can also be insufferable. Nobody wants to get yelled at because they forgot to rotate to the next hill in a casual lobby. The Objective Sweat represents one of the biggest divides in Call of Duty: fun versus winning. For them, winning is fun, and if you're not aligned with that mindset, prepare to be lectured. Still, deep down, you know you'd rather have them on your team than against you. Because if you don't, you'll end up being spawn-trapped while they rack up streaks and scream, EZW. The Slayer archetype is the perfect counterweight to the Objective Sweat. Where the Sweat lives and dies by captures and bombs, the Slayer only cares about kills. To them, objectives are a distraction. The real game is their kill-death ratio. If they get 50 kills and 10 deaths, the loss doesn't matter, Because look at that scoreboard, baby. Slayers can actually be useful when they're good. A high-skill Slayer can completely lock down a side of the map, denying enemies access to objectives by sheer firepower. They'll rack up kill streaks, control spawn rotations, and create breathing room for the rest of the team. But the problem is that most Slayers aren't that guy. Most of them are just selfish players who farm kills and ignore objectives, leaving their teammates to do the dirty work. It's a tale as old as COD. The Slayer who brags about their 40 kills and 8 deaths game while ignoring the fact that you lost domination 200-120 because they never touched a flag. They're the ones screaming, "I'm carrying," after a loss, convinced that kills matter more than points. And sure, their numbers look good, but the scoreboard tells the real story. Despite their selfishness, the Slayer has an important role. They keep the pace of the lobby alive. Without them, every match would be filled with campers and slow pushes. With them, you get the chaos that makes Call of Duty fun. And let's face it, everyone's played like a Slayer at some point. Sometimes you just don't care about winning. You just want to drop a nuke. And there's nothing wrong with that. The Trash Talker. If there's one archetype that defines the culture of Call of Duty, it's the Trash Talker. They're not just playing the game, they're performing in it. Every kill is a punchline, every death is an excuse, and every lobby is their stage. Back in the golden age of Xbox 360 and PS3, they were the soundtrack of multiplayer. Post-game lobbies were filled with screaming, roasting, and enough profanity to get your account suspended today. Trash talkers thrive on getting under your skin. They don't even have to be good. They'll get 12 kills and 20 deaths, but they'll still light up the mic after every kill like they just won champs. They'll teabag, spray paint dead bodies, blast music through their headset. They will do anything to provoke a reaction. And if you take the bait, they've already won. In Warzone, death comms became their playground. Drop one and you'll instantly hear their rage pouring through your speakers. Sometimes it's genuinely hilarious, like the guy who starts bargaining for his life mid-fight. Sometimes it's just pure toxicity. Either way, it's entertainment. What makes Trash Talkers memorable is that they embody the chaotic, competitive spirit of Call of Duty. They are very toxic, but they also make lobbies unforgettable. Everyone remembers the one lobby where some dude roasted the entire team for 5 minutes straight, and admittedly, sometimes you would be that guy. Love them or hate them, Trash Talkers are the spice of Call of Duty. Without them, post-game lobbies would be dead silent. With them, they're war zones in their own right, the Silent Sweat. On the opposite end of the spectrum sits the Silent Sweat. They're scarier than any Trash Talker. These players never say a word. No trash talk, no jokes, not even callouts. Just pure, unrelenting gameplay. They are the Terminators of Call of Duty. Their stats tell the story. A 3.0 KD, the rarest mastery camo unlocked, nuclear emblems flashing proudly. And they don't brag about it. They don't need to. They'll wipe your entire team in seconds, silently reload, and vanish back into the shadows. They don't even teabag. That's how you know they're serious. The mystery is what makes them so intimidating. Trash talkers give you something to read. You know what kind of person they are. But in the case of the Silent Sweat, you have no idea. They could be a teenager grinding ranked, or a 30-year-old dad casually dismantling your squad while sipping coffee. You'll never know. All you know is that you don't want to face them. Every COD veteran has faced one of these lobbies. You spawn in, die instantly, and realize one guy is absolutely farming everyone. Your team is begging them to say something, anything, and he just won't. He lets his kill feed do the talking. And deep down, you're praying matchmaking puts them on your side next time. The Silent Sweat doesn't need validation. They are validation. The snipers are an iconic breed in Call of Duty, and they've existed at two extremes since day one. On one hand, you have the quickscopers, the players who treat every lobby like a montage waiting to happen. On the other hand, you have the traditional snipers, the ones who sit at the back of the map for 10 minutes, scoped in, waiting for someone to cross their sight line. Quickscopers are flashy and terrifying. They sprint around with a Barrett or intervention, flicking across the screen, hitting shots that shouldn't even be possible. Dying to one isn't rage-inducing, it's humiliating. You watch the kill cam, see them spin, and one-shot you, and realize you were just an extra in their recruitment video. Back in MW2, they were everywhere. Rust lobbies basically turned into sniping competitions. Traditional snipers are hated for a different reason. They're the ones who turn maps into campfests. They sit at the far end of Crossfire or Afghan, scoped in with a thermal sight, deleting you every time you peek. They're not flashy, but they're frustrating. You can't push an objective without losing half your team to one shot. Both types are equally infamous. Quickscopers make you feel like a joke. Traditional snipers make you rage quit. But either way, snipers live for the clip. Winning the match is a bonus for them. The real goal is saving that footage for TikTok or YouTube, and they wouldn't have it any other way. The comedian. Some players load into Call of Duty to win, others load in to sweat. The comedian is here to cause chaos and make people laugh, usually at your expense. They turn COD into their personal comedy stage. The comedian might run loadouts that make no sense, like dual riot shields or pistols only. They'll try to get kills by dropping care packages on enemies or using nothing but throwing knives. They're the ones blasting music in chat, spamming voice lines or role-playing as drill sergeants mid-match. Half the time, they're trolling their own team just as much as the enemy. But when their jokes land, it's gold. Everyone remembers the guy who wiped a tryhard squad with a riot shield and started singing victory songs in the mic. Or the player who decided their win condition was getting a kill with a stun grenade. They're ridiculous, they're annoying, and they're unforgettable. Comedians are divisive. If you're in the mood to sweat, you'll hate them. But if you're playing to unwind, they're the best teammates you can get. Because at the end of the day, Call of Duty is supposed to be fun, and nobody embodies that more than the comedian, the melee psycho. If the comedian is there for laughs, the melee psycho is there for blood. These maniacs load in with a knife, a riot shield, or maybe Kali sticks, and that's it. No guns, no long-range strategy. Just pure, relentless melee chaos. Fighting them is always the same nightmare. You unload a full clip, they shrug it off with their shield, sprint at you with dead silence, and stab you before you can reload. The humiliation is unmatched. And when you die to one, they always make sure to teabag or spray your corpse, just to twist the knife, literally. The worst is when a full squad of melee psychos rolls in. Suddenly, the match turns into a horror movie, riot shields blocking every entrance, knives flashing, footsteps behind you no matter where you go. You're not playing Call of Duty anymore. You're playing Dead by Daylight. What makes them special is that they commit. Most people dabble with knives for a challenge, but the true melee psycho does it religiously. They prestige entire seasons with nothing but a blade. And the worst part is, they're often really good at it. Sure, they'll have matches where they get 10 kills and 25 deaths, but then they'll have one where they drop 40 knife kills and make you question why you even bothered bringing a gun. They're terrifying, they're annoying, but admittedly, they're kind of impressive. The LMG turret. Some players sprint across the map, others quickscope from afar. The LMG turret picks one lane, drops prone, finds a bipod, or mounts their gun to become a human sentry turret. This archetype lives for suppression. They'll set up in a choke point with an M60 or PKM and hold the trigger until their barrel turns red. Anyone foolish enough to peek gets instantly shredded. They don't move, they don't rotate, and they don't care if they're boring to watch. They're not here for highlights. They're here to make sure you never leave spawn. On maps like Shipment or Shoot House, they're a nightmare. They'll crouch behind cover with 100 rounds and mow down anything in sight. You don't kill an LMG turret. You perform a military operation to remove them. Their playstyle isn't exciting. Watching them play is like watching a guy camp a doorway in slow motion. They'll finish 18 kills and 7 deaths and act like they carried, even though they never moved more than 10 feet. But their impact can't be denied. They lock down space, frustrate the enemy, and force you to adapt. Killing one feels amazing though. When you finally push past their suppressive fire, it feels like storming Omaha Beach. The clueless newbie. Every Call of Duty lobby has at least one the clueless newbie. They're the wide-eyed, button-mashing rookies who clearly just picked up the game. You'll see them sprint into walls, shoot at teammates, or throw grenades at their own feet. And while they're frustrating, they're also kind of adorable. Newbies equip the strangest loadouts. A sniper rifle with a suppressor and thermal scope on Shipment? Sure, why not? Dual pistols in Ground War? Sounds good to them. They don't know the maps, don't know the spawns, and don't really know how to aim. But their enthusiasm makes up for it. Sometimes they surprise you. Every once in a while, a newbie lands a headshot that feels like divine intervention. Or they'll stumble onto an objective and accidentally clutch a round. And when they celebrate in chat, it's pure joy. They're just happy to be there. As much as veterans rage at them, newbies are important. They keep the player base alive. They remind you what it felt like to play COD for the first time. And they add unpredictability to lobbies. They might drag your team down, but deep down, you can't stay mad. Because once upon a time, you were that clueless newbie too. The sweaty tryhard. The sweaty tryhard is the most recognizable archetype in modern Call of Duty. You know them immediately. The cracked movement, the meta loadout, the constant slide canceling, bunny hopping, and drop shotting. Every match is a tournament for them, even if it's just a casual team deathmatch. Tryhards invest heavily into their craft. Scuff controllers, $200 headsets, optimized settings, hours of practice. They're practically semi-pro in their own heads. And while they're exhausting to play against, they push the skill ceiling higher for everyone else. Without them, the game would be slower, clunkier, and less competitive. But playing against a tryhard is frustrating. You'll die, respawn, and die again before you even aim down sight. They're stacking streaks, racking up UAVs, and making you question why you even bothered loading in the game. Playing with them isn't much better, because while they might carry you, but they will also make you feel useless. Tryhards aren't villains though. They're just hyper-competitive. They want to win, they want to be the best, and they'll sweat buckets to make it happen. And even though they make you rage, part of you respects them. Because in a franchise filled with campers, noob tubers, and clueless rookies, at least the tryhard is giving the game their all. The toxic teammate. Some players are bad, some are annoying. The toxic teammate is both, combined with a megaphone. They're the ones going 3 kills and 15 deaths, but screaming at everyone else. Every death is someone else's fault. Every loss is proof their team is garbage. They thrive on blame, excuses, and dragging morale into the dirt. In voice chat, they're unbearable. They'll call you trash, demand you quit, and sabotage the team just to prove a point. If team killing is on, they'll abuse it. If it's not, they'll still find ways to ruin your night. They're not rare, they're everywhere. Every lobby has at least one. And while they don't make the game better, they do make it memorable. But for all the wrong reasons. The carry is the tragic hero of COD. They do everything right. They get massive kill counts, clutch objectives, smart plays, and still lose because their team drags them down. You'll see it on the scoreboard. 50 kills, 10 captures, 3 defuses, and a loss. They're the reason the game was even close, but also the reason they're tilted beyond belief. Carries don't get glory. They get frustration, they get matched with clueless newbies, toxic teammates, and campers who refuse to help. They keep fighting, keep grinding, but deep down, they know they're doomed to suffer. Still, they're legends, the backbone of every close match, the unsung MVPs of COD. And even if they never get the win, everyone in the lobby knows without these unsung warriors, the game would be a one-sided massacre.